Ladies and gentlemen, hope you're all having a fantastic day. Today was bonkers. We had both a roadmap roundup and a monthly report. Some absolutely huge news about all of the stuff that's coming out, hopefully over the next couple of months, if not years. It is Star Citizen after all. The big thing, of course, is everything that's in today's roadmap roundup and the monthly report heavily implies things about CitizenCon. It is only 2 weeks away before the event, and so we can kind of construe ideas from these posts about what we might see at CitCon. And then if we don't, we can look back at what this video will eventually be and cry a lot about the lack of progress. Yay! Isn't that fun? If you have been living under a rock for the last couple of days, 321 went into the live servers, to the PTU servers rather, and there was a post about how they were going to talk about everything that's going to be in the patch, or at least a couple of things that are going to be in the patch in the roadmap roundup of this week. Interestingly, they did leave a thing out, but we'll get to that later. So the important thing is, what the hell's coming in 321? Well, this is what's coming in 321. The big thing you will notice is that it is pretty much all the stuff that was going to be in 320X patches, which makes a lot of sense. We pretty much assumed as such. There is a couple of new things in it though, so let's go over those really quickly. The whole reason the 321 patch exists, and I did a video about this the other day, is because they are going to separate? They're going to separate the replication layer from the servers. This is a really, really important step into getting 4.0, into getting Pyro. They've decided, hey, we're doing it on this patch cycle. We might as well actually rename it, right? It's going to be in a test feature during 321, and then they're going to test it live during 321.x. Other than the replication layer stuff, what actual features are we going to get? First off, being added to Alpha 321, we have the Crusader platforms, we have the Retrieve Consignment, and we have the A1 Spirit. The A1 Spirit is the Crusader Spirit series. It is the next bomber. Will be the only second bomber in this sort of form, this like gravity bomber that we have in Star Citizen. I believe it's supposed to have size 5 bombs and size 1 bombs, but we'll see a little bit more of that soon, because this is just the base patch. So the A1 will probably be coming out the next couple of weeks. I very much expect this patch to be the CitizenCon patch. It's going to either release just before CitizenCon, during CitizenCon, somewhere around there most likely. Steal Evidence mission is a brand new mission that we saw a little bit about on ISC. It is essentially Retrieve Consignment, but with hacking. So that's the stuff that's getting added into 321. Importantly, there is a pretty big thing that's actually missing from there that got added officially into 321 today, which of course are the new jump points. They look so, so good. As I've always said, the one thing that no one can beat CIG with is visuals. These are officially in the game now. You can travel to all 3 of these locations. There's not much to do there other than get some cargo, but for the most part, they're just there as useless stations, but they look extremely cool. Also added 321.x, once again, the replication layer update. Over the course of the 321 patch cycle, the replication layer will be moved off of the game servers and set up as its own standalone service. Our current goal is release Alpha 321 ahead of launching the preview channel and the replication layer update. Once this preview channel comes online, it will run in parallel to our live servers. Once we feel the replication layer work is reliable, we'll migrate it over to the live servers in a 321X patch. I have no idea how this is going to impact our game in the short term. Before like these last couple of days, before the last week or so, I didn't hear anyone speculating the replication layer was going to be this soon. Pretty crazy to see that we're going to be seeing it over the next month or so. And then the rest of the things that were in 320.x patches have been moved over to 321X. So we've got Vehicle Tractor Beams, the Tumbrel Storm, the C1 Spirit to go along with the A1 Spirit, and the Argo SRV. Fantastic. It is a little bit light for a roadmap roundup. Not a lot got added really to 321, except replication layer and Steal Evidence. Now, alongside the roadmap roundup, they also gave us the monthly report. The big thing about this monthly report, it is 100% the last monthly report before CitizenCon. All of the work that these guys will be tying up and making probably visuals for CitizenCon will have probably been done here. Some of it would have been done months ago. If there's anything to grab about what we might see at CitizenCon, it's in this report. This is another one of the new derelict settlements. We've been seeing these a lot more recently. They've been trying to really capture the identity of Ghost Hollow, the one on Daymar that I always forget the name of, because they just have cool story elements to them. You know what I mean? AI Tech continued developing various features throughout September, including Boids. For Boids, the base structure that allows the designers to define Boid states, wandering, fleeing, idling, dead, etc. A reminder, this is like fish and birds just being in the environment. I don't know why they call it Boids. It's a really dumb name. And transition between them was implemented. These transitions contain rules, including when they should be selected and animation data, such as birds taking off and landing. Team also added health components to agents so players can damage and potentially kill them. We can kill the boys. Star Citizen is actually just Deer Hunter 2017. So we will soon be able to bomb animal sanctuaries. And the AI tech team also supported the Alpha 320 release, CitizenCon, and the Squadron 42 feature team. Makes sense. I have no idea what we're going to see from the AI team at CitizenCon. But hey, it's important for them to assist because they are a multiple string team. A lot of the stuff that they do for AI carries over from Squadron to Citizen, so... Animation! Last month, the animation team worked towards ensuring all male animations are also available for the female character. They also created the initial animations for a new creature. Dog. Gib dog. Now, this is the section that everyone's always super excited about because it's where you can spend more money, the art ship section. In the US, a new vehicle variant was completed with final bug fixing and polishing currently underway. Guarantee you that releases at CitizenCon. The white box for one of the new vehicles mentioned in the previous PU report is nearing completion. Last month, the team solved some of the space issues, opting for smaller beds with a tighter layout. They also separated out the base model from the variants. That, I would assume, is actually more likely to be an IAE thing, although only finishing white box or nearing completion of white box last month may mean it takes even a little bit longer, so we might not see that one until next year. But we certainly won't see that at CitizenCon, because saying it has space issues with smaller beds for a tighter layout, it's going to mean that it's a much larger ship. The only ships that sort of get pushed that quickly through development are the like fighters and things like the Pisces and stuff like that. Everyone's favorite, the Santok Yai, is almost content complete, including cockpit animations that heavily lean into the alien language. The interior damage pass is also nearly done, including a new map generated specifically for Aopoa. This is another one that's probably going to come out during IAE, not SitCon, and this one actually means a lot more to me than I thought it did previously. Did you know the Cartwell came out in like 2016? The design language between 2016 and 2023 has to be considerably different. I am actually really curious to see what the Santok Yai is going to look like when it comes out, because like, yeah, that's 7 years. Finally, work continued on remote track-to-beam gameplay, including how the hardpoint should be used to create the best player experience. Makes sense. Supposed to be coming out with 421.x. The audio team. Last month, audio focused on Pyro, ensuring all essential sound effects were implemented. So the biggest thing about the audio team focusing on Pyro, audio, while being one of the most important things in video games and media in general, tends to get implemented pretty late. They sort of need to know what they need sounds for. I am not surprised that they're working on Pyro right now. A lot of the things that have been coming out over the last week have in fact been leaning towards a 4.0 by the end of the year. And with CitizenCon in 2 weeks, I do think at this stage we will see a 4.0 by the end of the year. However, as I mentioned in my previous video, this is Star Citizen. We all saw what happened to 318 and how long it took 318 to come through and work. Just because they plan for 4.0 by the end of the year does not mean that we will actually see Pyro by the end of the year. If it does arrive, it's going to be a PTU. It'll be pretty much the exact same case we had last year, where a couple of days before Christmas, we got 318 PTU. Last month was the first introduction of the economy team into the monthly report. I assume they're still very much in the planning stages of a lot of what they want to do, but they did work on actual stuff that we're seeing in game today. So the economy team set up shops at 3 jump point stations to provide the Hull Sea and other cargo ships with additional trade routes. They also worked on rebalancing commodity trading in Stanton and Pyro as part of a larger initiative to improve the gameplay experience for haulers and traders. Boys! Fantastic. So first off, the 3 jump points are the 3 jump points that they're talking about that are in 321, the PTU right now. Jump point to Pyro, Terra, and Magnus. We found out yesterday that all 3 of those do in fact have cargo available, quite a lot of it, and it does look profitable. So more options for you to do cargo trading in the verse in general, beefing up the Hull Sea. Once they get the Hull Sea to stop bugging out, there's a lot more things to trade, just station to station. Fantastic. Awesome. Every single time we get to the engine section, I need to preface this by saying I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. On the renderer, transition towards the final version of Gen 12 continued. This included enabling the render graph, which can utilize the GPU better with less CPU cost. What is important about that sentence there is it has been confirmed that you should be getting a performance increase in 321. And so far, I've been experiencing that in pretty much every location. So Gen 12 almost completely implemented, and it's working. On the physics side, the team is currently adding numerous improvements to the simulation, which will be revealed soon, aka at CitizenCon. So yeah, this will be either at CitizenCon or they'll talk about it during the sprint report tomorrow. Another big one is the EUPU team. They continue working towards the release of the ship Tractor Beam, including an update to the general salvage HUD to allow it to show Tractor Beam information. This is still a work in progress. The team also made a significant progress on structural salvage, formerly Munching, and continued their ongoing work on the resource network. Salvage is coming, ladies and gentlemen. About a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, we saw the initial work that they were doing on hull munching, now called structural salvage, and it was completely non-existent, essentially. It was just like a test. Hey, can this work? The UI has changed a fair bit on the sides there. I assume that's mostly just distance. So the distance looks a lot nicer, a lot better UI up the top here. You can see what you're targeting. It's quite nice. I'm a big fan of this for sure. Various mission content was also worked on, including the reactivation of the Crusader platform missions, which tentatively passed its go, no-go review. Blockade Runner also progressed through development following internal playtests and feedback. We saw the Crusader platforms getting added into 321, so that's already made it through. And we got to see essentially what Blockade Runner is last week during ISC. Siege of Orison 1.1 entered the Qatar phase, where it will be tested for stability and performance issues ahead of future activation. Really hoping we get to test this one out again soon. It has been a very, very long time since we've gotten to play Siege of Orison, and I really have been missing it. I'm probably the only one. Curious to see what changes they made with it. We saw, I think it was the monthly report last month, or in some sort of communication from CIG recently, the idea of Siege of Orison 1.1 was to kind of slow things down a little bit too, and make it the case that like there's not tons of different groups of people on all of the different platforms. If you played Siege of Orison, I'm sure you will remember, you'll join a Siege of Orison. 3 of the 4 lieutenants are dead when you first join, or even 2 of the 4 lieutenants are dead when you first join. And then as you're on your way to the 3rd platform, the mission ends. It just takes so long to traverse the entire location that if anyone is ahead, it just gets done without any of your input. So excited to see what they do change there, but they haven't really talked about it. So last month, the branding team progressed with navigational signage for the exterior of the underground facilities. They also created holograms and assembled navigational signage for an upcoming event. IAE. They're describing IAE. Holograms and navigational signage? That's IAE. The Interactables team progressed with various upcoming content, including a variety of new style props and supported the ongoing development of the new underground facilities. Lots of talk about the underground facilities today. Lighting continued their work across multiple initiatives. They mainly focused on Pyro. The performance improvements were made across Stanton 2. The lighting team is also one of the sort of last teams that gets their hands on things in new content. So, you know, lighting, audio, working on Pyro makes sense. The big one, the one that I'm really, really excited for, other than like the ship content, is the locations teams. Look at this bad boy. The locations team continued developing a variety of new locations for Pyro. They also worked on several legacy locations in pursuit of maintaining the wider stand system, and supported the mission feature team on one of their upcoming initiatives. The Sandbox and Organics team progressed with several upcoming locations, including Pyro and the new underground facilities. Does that not look practically finished? This has so much detail. It has so much detail. First off, this is an in-game screenshot. Once again, as you can see, you've actually got the prox comms up there. They've chucked a rover in there. They've chucked a mule in there. There's walkways, there's roads, there's ballards, there's like weird cargo things that look like they're in the ground. That's a bit weird. I don't know what's going on there necessarily. Maybe that's a ramp down. Maybe this is a elevated area, and will be such an upgrade to outposts. I'm gonna make a call here. 321X will have one underground facility. I think it's pretty reasonable at this stage with everything that they've showed us. It'll probably exist, and it might have a single mission tied to it. Or no missions. Honestly, it might just be a location that you can buy and sell cargo and stuff. I think they'll start with one in the same way that they started with one location for the derelict settlements, essentially, with the Reclaimer. I know there was more, but then they like drastically increased afterwards. They may just surprise release this, because this looks almost complete. Like, am I wrong here? The exterior looks done. So how much of the interior is done? Online services. Now, these are the guys also talking about server meshing. They saw the online services team working on the seeding service, a new star service for server meshing. There's a C++ gRPC service that reads data from the game files to seed global, graveyard, and shard databases by using the Entity Graph service. If you know what the hell that means, tell me in the comments, because it's about server meshing. It feels relevant. Team also continued to update Easy Anti-Cheat in an attempt to eliminate false positives as well as implement sanctions in the future. We don't really have a big problem with cheating in Star Citizen yet, but I'm really hoping it doesn't go the way of Tarkov. So anytime there's an update to Easy Anti-Cheat, I'm pretty excited. R&D team worked on a variety of important updates to the game engine that will be shown to the community soon. You mean at CitizenCon? On the physics side, they are adding numerous improvements to the simulation, which will be revealed soon. I think we're going to be getting a very large engine panel or talk or something. Obviously, they're doing something big with the engine that they're excited to show us, but it's almost definitely going to be during CitizenCon. Great progress was made on creating and implementing creatures across the PU. As part of this, work was done on tool sets for rigging and physics proxy authoring and implementation. This is the second time they've mentioned this in this monthly report. I think that may also end up being a surprise CitizenCon release, is like we have a creature in the game now. Whatever that might be is completely up to you. That could be the stuff that we already know about, like the Microtech Yeti or whatever, but I don't know. They're still working on implementing it, right? And the VFX team progressed with a variety of Pyro locations. Several vehicles were worked on too, with one being completed. They also focused on optimization and bug fixing for Alpha 3.20. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your monthly report for September. The big takeaways here, I think, not a lot of player-focused features in this other than, you know, a little bit of updates on salvage. They're continuing work on missions. A lot of debugging going on, or bug fixing going on. But there are definitely a few things here that I think we're going to see at CitizenCon. I genuinely think we're probably going to see at least one of these new UGFs released in 321 at this stage. The replication layer coming to 321 is a huge deal because it does bring up that timeline a little bit to, you know, late this year 4.0 in the PTU, but it won't happen. It's going to be really interesting. I genuinely think the biggest thing here is that there's nothing huge in this monthly report for a CitizenCon. But you know what there is? There's Squadron 42. But sort of the lack of like super big hype things in this monthly report really makes me think it's going to be a Squadron-focused CitizenCon. So let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong or if you think I'm very right. Either is okay. Let me know. You can comment down below all of your weird theories about CitizenCon and the monthly report and 321. Are you excited for 321? Are you excited for the jump points? We are. The jump points look fucking sick. They look really, really cool. Make sure to subscribe and all that sort of stuff. And I'll see you guys next video, which this is the first time I've done this streaming live, one of these ones. So see you then.